What's up, and welcome back to Season 7 of Comic Book Nation, the only show that does it all for geek culture. I am your host, Kofi Outlaw, and with me today, I have the Comic Book Nation team, Matthew Aguilar, Janelle Wheeler, and with us, Mr. Evan Valentine is here again. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
All right. I'm still figuring out some audio things on my end, but we're going to do that on the fly. We got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about Wicked, but for good. Yeah. We'll be talking about Wicked for good. We're going to also talk about some geek news things. There's some big trailers that dropped before the Thanksgiving holiday, and we got some news to go through. And of course, we got to catch up with what's been going on the TV screen, some comics. And at the end of the show, we get a visit from our buddy, Mr. Chris Killian, who sat down with Mr. David Dastmalchian to talk about his latest project, find out about all of that at the end of the show. We got a good one for you today. We want to say thank you. If you're listening on audio, I'm sure you heard, but thank you to Global Comics, who have been working with us for the past couple of weeks. They're out there. Go get a gold membership for Global Comics. That's comics with an X. They got Marvel, DC, all your favorite publishers, old graphic novels, new stuff, good service. Go check that out. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Evan, we set you up. You are our tribute for this next story, so take it away.
I accept the tribute. Earlier yesterday, actually, the first trailer for The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. I have no idea what that title means. I'm not a Hunger Games guy. But this is a prequel movie that is coming out exactly like 1 year from yesterday, on November 20th. This will be a prequel to the popular Hunger Games series that kind of breaks down the world and everything. But they showed off their extremely stacked cast. Let me bring it up just so I make sure that I hit everybody who's going to be in this. There's Elle Fanning, Kieran Culkin, Jesse Plemons, Ralph Fiennes, Maya Hawke, Glenn Close, and way too many others to list. Take it away, anyone who knows more about Hunger Games than I do. Does anybody? What does everybody else think about
you knew about this? I am so sorry. I didn't mean.
I was a super fan. Like when the books came out, I was just mad about it. I am not a reader, and I became a reader. And I'm one of the people that was like, the movies are okay. Like, I wasn't in love with the movies compared to the books, but I'm just confused. Like, are they just basically trying to mimic, like, do it all over again with this? Like, I understood the one about the president, and his like backstory and everything, but like, this looks like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory meets, what is the one with Florence Pugh?
Midsommar. I was just thinking of that. I saw that scene and was like, man, this really looks like Midsommar. Did Ari Aster help create?
I don't know if I'm ready to see kids dying again.
So far on this podcast, we've been like, we don't know what's happening in media and advocated slightly for illiteracy.
So,
like, we're not.
I am actually excited for this.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in and save us. Okay, so here's what this movie is. This movie is the story of what happened to Haymitch, Woody Harrelson's character from the original. Because he was at this milestone. The whole parallel is Katniss she comes up at a milestone anniversary reaping, and so did Haymitch. So his was especially brutal, and it left him alcoholic and messed up. And this is the movie about that, about his tournament. So it's about what happened to him, 10 years or 30 years before Katniss comes along and when he's a boy. And this was an especially memorably brutal, if you don't remember the backstory in the Hunger Games books, Haymitch is so messed up because his reaping was so bad. Like, his tournament was especially memorably brutal down to the end. So this is what this movie is. So the Midsommar thing is just the beginning because they're celebrating a milestone reaping and they're going through all the ceremony of it, but then it gets dark after that. Yeah. So this is not good. We already know this movie doesn't have an emotionally happy ending because we know what happens to Haymitch. And I think this is even him, maybe. I can't remember if they're bringing back Woody Harrelson and he'll be like telling the stories or something like that. But
that would be nice.
Yeah,
because this also features like a young President Snow, and younger versions of other characters that we know. So like we will see connections, which is cool. I was out on Hunger Games like after the initial films because I was like, oh, I enjoyed them. Yeah. But like I was kind of like, okay, I'm good. That chapter's closed. And then I was not prepared to like the first prequel, and I ended up really enjoying it. Like it kind of snuck up on me, and I was like, all right, this is cool. And then when they announced, oh hey, we're basing a movie off of the other prequel novel, which is like Haymitch's games and stuff, it's like, okay, there's that one big like mystery of like what happened, why is he so screwed up. That's interesting to me. So like cool. So like yeah, it was here's the thing though, where do they go from here? Because after this, I don't know what else there is to mine from, unless you're just gonna reboot it completely.
Yeah, and then, like a new set.
Reboot. I could see a reboot.
Yeah, because like otherwise, like okay, like now I'm gonna need or if there's another like novel or another kind of short story that can kind of translate. But like I will be interested to see where it goes from here. But this is interesting. I'll watch this.
Yeah, the cast is kind of what has. I'm very surprised. I'm surprised how many people are on board with this, and like really, it's pretty cool. So I mean, I'm down to watch it. I'm just, oh God, I'm so tired of seeing children die.
In movies or real life?
That's a statement that should be on a shirt and just in general apply to life in absolute general. Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad nobody clips this show for Reddit or something. We are really just like.
Well, let's move into some more light subject matter.
Right. So guys, House of the Dragon and the Night. I mean, listen, this is the longest TV show name in the world. I don't know why, but it's fine. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. They're both being renewed. They're both getting new seasons. They're getting cleared before their current seasons are even out. So I think we're getting Night in January, and then House of the Dragon is coming in the summer. Which means we will also see season 2 for Night the following year, or is it 20? I think it's 2028.
Yeah,
perhaps.
No, season 4 of House of the Dragon is 2028. And
then
remember,
Night is 2027. Yep. So that's. I mean, I'm really happy about this. Obviously, like. Here's an example where I thought that the Game of Thrones lore, I was like, I'm done. Like I got what I wanted out of the show. I don't need reboots or new shows or anything. And then House of the Dragon came out and just blew my socks off. So, this might be a perfect example of that. I absolutely love it. And maybe it will be the same for Hunger Games. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, I want to tie this. I mean, we're kind of stumbling into this larger kind of discussion point, but yeah, I don't do the whole I'm done with like a franchise. I think I've seen too many examples at this point that anything done correctly can be revitalized. We're living in a Predator renaissance right now.
That's
like
true.
Yep.
So like there's nothing that I'm like, I'm done with this. It's just we didn't go about it the right way during the streaming wars. It was just kind of content. Like there wasn't real stories. Everything felt like content. So I think it's if you do it the right way. I think I'm happy because the Hedge Knight, it's hard to talk about because unless you're a hardcore person who went like full Martin in the 2010s, reading all this Game of Thrones, expanded lore and all that. Yeah, it's hard to really tell the appeal of this show, but there is kind of a big hook and it is kind of a story. I think I've said here before, worth telling. I think this one will be better than people kind of know when they kind of get the connective hooks to like what it is. But I'm glad that HBO is at least, because I think it is fair to say we've also had to deal with some pretty nuts timelines for these shows. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that we're seeing from movies like Superman to, our favorite big TV shows, like a quicker turnaround time.
Yeah, I think that in the comments, Judon Foster and Sir Glean kind of may bring up some good points in terms of like, well, why is it taking so long in between these seasons? Well, back in the day, there were shows like, I like to point to Star Trek, because like Star Trek Deep Space Nine had like 24-hour-long episodes that came out year after year without fail. But like, what worked about those was the fact that they were all in one location for the most part. Like it was on the bridge of Deep Space Nine. It was on like one part where everybody shared, and they just kind of, the story went out from there. These like shows nowadays, for good or for bad, are way more like cinematic. Like clearly you can see from like the House of the Dragon, from the Onion Knight, they're just a lot of different locations, crazy battle scenes, all these other things. Now, is that always the case? Like, I don't think Stranger Things should have taken like as long as it did in between every single season. I think like, it's really getting the timing. Actors are doing a lot of different projects in terms of movies and stuff like that, so it's tough to get them all back in one place. But I think that, as Kofi mentioned, they are kind of working on that. And I think like, 2 years might seem like a long time, but like, honestly, not really. But again, I'm coming at this from an anime perspective, because I have to wait like 3 to 5 years between seasons sometimes for some of the biggest anime shows. So like, I'm used to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the simple answer. TV changed. HBO helped change it. Like, that's the reason. Most TV used to be this snappy, like, okay, we're cranking it out like Warner Brothers, like just like films used to be. Warner Brothers film system was a system. They had stages. That's why they stuck to film noir and other genres. They had a couple stages, a couple set pieces. We're going to redress these. We're knocking out like 5 movies today. Like, this is what we're doing. Now everything is bigger. We want bigger. We want like more cinematic. We want more visual effects. We want, the scale and stuff. And we started saying, hey, we want that on TV. And so Game of Thrones goes out to like 5 different countries and shoots movies, basically. So they're shooting just like several movies worth of content. And and they have all the things that a movie needs: a costume department, the stunt departments. Like, they're a movie production that is arguably never going to make back the millions upon millions of dollars they're going to pump into this thing, right? At least not for a while, until they begin to make a whole franchise, a content block, merchandising, licensing, all of that. So that's why you're playing the longer game. But that's why it takes so long. But I think what we're seeing now is the smarter play of kind of mediation that you get. It was too much this way, then they went too crazy this way. Now we're going to probably get in the middle. Like, 1 or 2 shows for your franchise and start alternating, right? Like, hey, we're shooting this one's shooting while this one's on, this one's shooting while this one's on. Like, do it that way. And so you have some, like, and don't go too crazy, because right now we have these 2, but they're also still, teasing they're going to do the Aegon the Conqueror show, the 1,000 ships of Valeria or whatever they were saying they're going to do. Like, so they're still kind of, I'm waiting to see what they do, but don't overblow it. Just keep it controlled, mediation, and play it smarter. There's stories you can tell that COVID brought us Severance. You know what I mean? Like a show that takes place like in a couple hallways in a room, and then like 1 exterior or 2 exterior locations. I'm like, okay. So
it's funny that show is also like guilty of then taking forever to give us a second season.
Yes, like... I know. Maybe not the best example, probably. Thank you. I had knees and then yes. But I'm just saying the creativity has always also been part of it. You can't just go unbridled with your imagination and be like, I got this script. We just gotta go in the upper atmosphere and shoot it. Like, you gotta like have an idea, you know what I mean? So that you can do in a controlled space. But this got way weird. This was our off the rails conversation today. We got more news to get to. In addition to this, we're also getting a new kind of biker show from Kurt Sutter, the creator of Sons of Anarchy and, the inspiration behind Mayans MC. So this new show will be set in New Zealand, and it will star our boy, Jason Momoa. I mean, could you see that? The guy who's currently doing his own like real life biker interview show. But it's going to be for Apple TV, which I thought was the interesting part. That was a very interesting kind of part. And it's going to be called Nomad, and it's going to be Kurt Sutter and Chris Collins, who has a very acclaimed pedigree of TV credits that also includes Sons of Anarchy, The Wire, and a bunch of other stuff. So this is going to be set in New Zealand, and it's going to be, and I quote, the violent underworld of New Zealand's outlaw bikers, where a warrior torn between two lives, two callings, and two families must decide which path defines his true destiny. Anyway, that means that it's Sons of Anarchy in New Zealand, basically, which I didn't know that I was interested in, but I'm like, there's a New Zealand outlaw biker underworld, because that was like my fallback plan. I was like, to get out of here and just Irish exit on everybody and just hide out in New Zealand is my backup plan. I was like, wait, now
take us with you.
So yeah, I'm interested in this. It's good to see Sutter back, and I'm kind of, Momoa loves to do that kind of Pan-Pacific culture type of show. And so I'm kind of interested about what these two worlds are going to be. Am I the only one? Is there any gas left in this tank of this Sons of Anarchy thing?
Much like Game of Thrones.
Shaking her head.
No, much like Game of Thrones, like this is a universe, I guess, if you want to say that. But like, this is just kind of a story that can kind of branch out as long as it kind of has the same, feeling and aesthetic as the original series. It can kind of branch out. And hey, man, as long as it doesn't have any conflicts with his current role as everyone's favorite space biker Lobo, I'm good with Jason Momoa trying to, be bikers.
I should be fired. I wrote this entire article and never
mentioned that he was Lobo.
I mentioned he's going to be playing a white-skinned biker already.
What a bastard! What a!
I'm gonna change that right now.
All right. No, I'm excited.
You know, Foster every rolling. That's fantastic. That man be staying on Apple.
Yeah, I mean, they're paying him. What is that? What is that famous line from What's That Lap thing? Because I promote it because I love it, and they pay him. Oh, it's Petey Pablo. Yeah, because I drink this. I love it because they pay me. We got a Petey Pablo reference. Yep, that kind of show today. All right, but we gotta keep it moving. All right, we gotta keep it moving. We're tight for time today, so let's keep it moving.
I got just a quick thing on this next thing. I just wanted to mention it because this kind of randomly hit, and I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and it's kind of it was like a good news, bad news situation because it was like, hey, it was reported essentially that we are getting a new live action. It's in development, a new live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie franchise, that kind of thing, which we haven't had since the Michael Bay movies. So it was like, hey, that's great. And then it was like, hey, but that last Ronin project you were really excited for, the R-rated one? Yeah, we're putting that on the back burner. I was like, that sucked. I was really excited for that. But then, look, they kind of explained it, right? Of, hey, you got to remember, this is pretty much a new regime. We are more familiar with that than anyone. This is a new regime and at Paramount. And we're like, do we want the first live action Turtles thing to be the last Ronin? It's like, well, I kind of get that. I was like, there's a part of me. I don't know. I kind of got it. I was like, all right, you can probably do it. But they did say that it wasn't an all out like, hey, we're not interested. It was a, hey, we're putting it back over here. See if we can get to it later, kind of just put it over there. I imagine if this new franchise doesn't take off, we can see that pulled right back out, maybe a little quicker than they expected. Because that's the oh my god, the place is on fire button they can always hit later when people are like, hey, we want Ronin. Hey, there you go. But I am excited for a new live action thing only because I recently rewatched the first Michael Bay Turtles movie. With Ember and the fam, and I actually forgot how much I kind of like that movie. So I was like, hey, I kind of dug it. I have some issues with it, but like overall, that's kind of absurdly fun, and I dug it. I didn't love the second one, but I like the first one, and that was actually some great Turtles moments in that movie. So I was like, hey, but I'm looking forward to like a new vision. It is a bummer though that other news, Paramount did cancel the Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, which is actually really good. But season 2 is hitting soon. So yeah, lots of Turtles news, good and bad. But I am excited for new live action stuff.
I wanted to in my heart of hearts, I knew the last Ronin live action movie was never going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's too like, and I would recommend.
I can't say that. It's going to happen at some point.
It's the best I think that it's going to happen is like as an animated direct to video movie. I just can't foresee a live action R-rated TMNT as much as we want it. As cool as that story is, it's just such a hard sell. I think it's like,
but that's what they said about Lord of the Rings and Sandman and all that, and all that stuff made it. There is no, in keeping with Kofi's earlier comment, I feel like this applies to video games a lot. To me, there is no sacred cow. There is no unfilmable thing. There is no that kind of thing. Like, I do feel like at some point we'll get it. I agree with you though, whether that's live action or animated, I feel like animated is a heck of a lot easier sell.
Yeah.
And more likely than live action.
And a quick for those, because we're just assuming that everybody knows what The Last Ronin is. Very quickly, TMNT Last Ronin is a comic book series that came out. It's kind of routinely thought of as one of like the best recent ones, and one of the best recent limited series. And it kind of spurred on this new like universe where it keeps going, and they keep introducing, like, I believe there are new turtles that follow The Last Ronin who have been introduced. But it takes place, there's one mysterious turtle. They reveal it in the series, but I'll keep it like, I won't reveal which turtle it is. The rest of the turtles died, Splinter died, and this one turtle is left, and he's on like a quest for revenge in a kind of cyberpunk future. It works really well as a comic book story. But like, when I heard originally that they were going to make like a live action version of this, it was just like, man, I can't wrap my head around it, because like the idea of trying to sell an R-rated version, especially, like, I think if you had sold it as like a PG-13 kind of darker iteration, that might have worked a little better. But man, that just would not have. I could not see like trying to sell that to folks to be like, it's rated R.
I mean, they sold Deadpool.
Well,
yeah, but Deadpool always was kind of like an R-rated.
But that story is though, and like, I mean, I don't. If there's money to be made, I feel like at some point someone will greenlight it.
I think they'll tweak it. I think again, just not to harp on the same point, but I think we should take from the lessons of the recent past. If you can do a Predator movie and still keep it in that PG-13 realm, and to get it to that audience, I think you can do The Last Ronin similarly, because you're going to need that teen audience. You're going to need that edgelord teen who maybe this is their first experience with the Turtles, or when they were a kid, they saw like the Bay films and were like, what? But like, this would be like their Dark Knight, you know what I mean? The thing that makes them go, oh, these guys can be like cool and gritty and mature, not to keep it so circular, but I think if we can sell a Predator movie, like, I think by now we can tweak this concept enough to get it where it needs to be. Because I want it to be violent and I want it to be brutal, but I also think we can do the Batman, Superman, warehouse scene style of this.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of, the director's cut has the blood and the theatrical version just cuts the shot of the blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's ways around this. And I think you plan it that way too. Like, we are putting out the theatrical version, but we already got the director's cut in the tuck, like for the full shell version, the inside shell version, for all the kind of really brutal stuff later. And you make it kind of a cult thing. And so I think you can sell this now in a post-Predator Badlands marketplace, because if we're taking freaky hunter killer creatures and we're like, oh, we can make a turtle that's been wronged into like a dark story. But I think you have to abandon. I'm kind of in the middle of you two. I do think you have to abandon the rated R part. Like, you gotta get it to that heart, like I said, that edgelord teen boy audience who's gonna be like, oh my God, the turtles, you don't understand. And then, oh, the original comics, then we can go through that whole thing, where some TikTok discovers the original comics. You didn't know that the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were so actually much darker than you think. And it's like, the whole TikTok.
All wore red. All wore the red headbands.
Yeah, they all had the same color. It was only until yes, I know. But yeah, I'm just an old man yelling about turtles at the sky. But yeah, I think you could do it. And you've totally derailed us yet again with this topic. Good job, but it is a good topic. This is a good one. That's why you're here. All right. So, yeah, we got a tight show today. Everybody's got stuff to do, and we have an interview at the end of this. So we said we'd keep it tight, and we are. Moving right along, let's talk about, let's take a break now, get that out of the way, pay some bills, then come back, and we're just going to talk about TV, movies, everything. Let's go. All right. I don't know why I left Pluribus in here. That was stupid because I haven't seen the latest episode. So did anybody see the latest episode?
Yeah, this show is awesome, but I don't want to spoil it for you at all, Kofi. It's very interesting. There's
do you want me to mute up? Do you need me to just
No, it's fine. There's
anybody else see it?
No, it's just listen. This show is great. I think that people are enjoying it for the most part, and in this we're getting more movement, which I think is really important in the show, is just move it forward and like keep the story going, because it could get, like with the hive mind situation, it could just get really repetitive. I like that there's like a flashback for our lead character. What makes this especially impactful for her is her childhood experiences with conversion therapy, and then and we're like the therapist, we're very like happy all the time, very similar to what she's experiencing now. And then the same goes for what she's going to try to do to break some people out of this haze. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, you should definitely check it out because it's really cool. She has this like strat. She figures out that they can't lie, and she's like, I'm going to like go for a strat and see if this works. And you guys need to watch that to see if it does.
One of the really coolest things, and you kind of mentioned it, Janelle, but one of the coolest things about Pluribus is taking what is effectively a simple idea and kind of expanding on it, and like just looking at all of the layers, like continuing to just examine everything about like the collective, and like answering all of these questions about the various things. Like I love the conversation about like whether or not they'll give her a nuclear bomb. I know that didn't happen in the latest episode, but I just love that kind of like, well, like, we would talk with you and we would try to encourage you not for us to give you a nuclear bomb, but at the end of the day, we'd kind of give you a nuclear bomb. So that was
what's so
very
good about Vince Gilligan is her reaction after that.
Yeah,
it clearly just kind of puts a pin in that. It's just like she's just like, and then it kind of like moves on, and you're like, oh, I'm sure that's the last we're gonna hear about this. Like, so, but yeah, no, that's why I'm excited to see the latest episode today. It's interesting to hear how they're layering this in with her backstory and why this is particularly upsetting to her. That's good to kind of intriguing to hear. And like, yeah, this is what I like about the show is I feel like Vince Gilligan sat down and plotted this onion out pretty well. And now it's just kind of, as we're going to be peeling back layers, it's going to be like, we're going to be, hopefully we're that Vince McMahon meme, you know, where we're just like, by the end, we're just like, halfway on the floor. So, yeah, I won't get too hung up on this because again, if we start talking about it, we're all going to start talking, spoiling this, that, and the other. Shout out. I think we were wrong in kind of still this underestimating because it is finding its place, but Welcome to Derry kind of is doing it, but it took a big swing this week. I'm sure it lost some of the Stephen King fans by kind of doing a little origin retcon for Pennywise and starting to peel back more of that. So Evan, now I know you are on this page. So this is secret Hunger Games aversion, but like I know you're on this page.
I was most excited to talk about this week of all the stuff that we're talking about. I even posted in the Slack right after I had we have a group Slack for the that kind of talks about everything that we're reviewing and all that stuff. And after I watched the latest episode, I just posted because oh my god, this is I can't believe the stuff that they're getting away with in Welcome to Derry. It was kind of like for anime heads, I will reference Junji Ito, who is one of the greatest horror masters in the anime world. This felt straight out of a story from that, because this has a scene involving snails that is so uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable watching this. I was like, man, I feel bad for Janelle because I'm desensitized to all of this. I felt bad for everybody else on the call to have to watch this because it's just like.
Thank you for thinking of me.
I was like, how is Janelle handling this right now?
Not well.
It's just like, it was so, they're really ratcheting up like just the uncomfortable, terrifying horror scenes. I kind of did also appreciate the prequel stuff about like what Pennywise looked like before he decided to become a clown. That was very interesting in terms of like during more of the Native American stuff and everything. I thought like this series has done really well in terms of expanding the lore while simultaneously not really stepping on the toes of like what Stephen King had originally made. So yeah, this is I've been really surprised in terms of how much I've really been enjoying this series more than I thought I would. I thought that this originally would just kind of be like, okay, well, they're gonna try to milk Pennywise a little bit more. And it's really kind of blown me away so far. Like, and again, do not watch this if you can't handle like it's hard to even describe some of the gruesome scenes that take place.
Bro, I like there are times because it's Sunday night and I put this on, and there are times like I keep falling asleep on my first ones, and that's not against the show, that's just me. Like I'm just tired and I fall asleep. I wake up because people are screaming at the top of their lungs or the music's going nuts, and I wake up to the most berserk stuff that I have been like, am I like in hell? Am I going crazy? Like, what is happening? Yeah, I woke up to like the pickle scene. It was like, what is happening here? Like, yeah, every time I pass out on Welcome to Derry, there's that. They always, and I like how they're just breaking this up episodically. Like it's guaranteed you're gonna have that scene during each episode, and like every time it happens, or Pennywise just like that scream, I'm like, whoa. Used to waking up to just Chanel West Coast laughing, that's my standard wake up for passing out. Just, Chanel West Coast's little penguin laugh on ridiculousness on constant replay. We've all been there. But yeah, so shout out to this show because I always have to be like, wait, hold up, go back. How did we get here? Like, and then watch it again. And the lore is really interesting. I think this is the show Castle Rock thought it was going to be.
Yes, that's a perfect comparison.
Castle Rock?
Yeah, and it's the show I wanted Castle Rock to be, but there was.
Yeah, me too.
But you know what was missing? The glue of something in the center of it, a MacGuffin we're all going to automatically be invested in, and that's what Andy Muschietti and the team like knew, and they did wisely. They knew that yes, we all just are there for the clown, but they're not just going to give us the clown. They're like,
Yeah.
we're going to keep the clown there, so you keep invested in it, but we're going to slow roll the clown. This is a slow rollout. He's doing it like the clips. We're gonna do a slow rollout. We're gonna pop up everywhere, you know, and then eventually you get the thing. Matt got that. That's a little hip hop reference. Sorry, I was at a Jizza concert last night. I'm tired. Anyway, so yeah, Janelle, I'm sorry we do this to you every week. It's funny. I wish we could do like a TikTok, a flip of like Janelle pre-child, post-child. Janelle was like the Michael Jordan meme pre-child. She's like, yo, I was at my concert, man. F them kids. I'm just trying to chill. And now she's like, are you all thinking of the babies? Like, it's great. I love it, man.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
Mama
I just
Bear
can't
Janelle
stop like
is-
rubbing my eyes. Like it's just so messed up.
Matt, I broke Matt.
Oh man.
We've been potting for so long. It's crazy. Yeah. You're like,
oh, all right.
Yeah, everybody loves my hairstyle that I use to cover up the patches in the back now because I'm so old. Yes, it's great. We're all doing. Matt's gone. I mean, I've just sat here in this little window and watched Matt like a slow roll of like
I look like one of those
fighting the blacks.
Like someone put an adjustment layer in Photoshop and just removed all the hue. Like, they just keep graying my beard and adding another layer. Oh, let's jack that up to 50%, 60%.
Listen, Zadrian, Disney in the chat, like, yes, we all want the Avengers Doomsday thread. You're gonna have to go through Avatar to get it, buddy. Like, you know,
No!
You think Fire and Ash is just counting on you to show up because you love the Navi? Nah, brother. You're gonna have to go through an Avatar to see that. So get them dollar bills saved up. Oh, we were just doing that last night. Dollar bills, yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the show. We're on a tight time schedule. Squid Game, the challenge. This is the grenade of the day. Here we go. Let's go. Evan, let's let you get it. Let's let you get this off your chest, and then we will just respond because you have very strong feelings about season 2 of Squid Game, the challenge. You've already had one. So oh no, you were already on your soapbox about this, about how we're failing.
I hate it.
Show.
I hate it. I don't like it. I hate the concept. I mean, I just think that like, what else is there for me to say in terms of like how much I despise this show? No, really, like in all honesty, like, yeah, I just don't think it's one of those shows that's not for me. I think that I totally, because hey man, I'm a big reality. I love my guilty pleasure reality shows. I love like when there's like drama and competition shows. Hey, I don't watch like The Challenge anymore because it's been going for like 45 years or however.
Those people
long.
are so hilarious. I've seen some of them in New York. Like I've seen, what's his name, CB, the one from Boston, and people like
guy
that.
who will not leave CJ or whatever.
Chris,
yeah, the guy
CJ.
That guy who's like 63 and he's like,
I watched his season. I remember watching his debut season.
Oh, so do I, man. Yeah, like and like it's still crazy to see like one of the Real World is currently the Secretary of Transportation, and also, but like it's fun to say like, yeah, the Miz started as I remember watching that season of the Real World.
Oh yeah, that was my jam.
Thanks to Road Rules, we got the election results we got.
And Road Rules, Theo Vaughn was on. Yeah, man. It's crazy.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Oh my gosh,
he started off on
crazy.
Road Rules. But anyway, like I just, it's not for me. Like, and yeah, I have had a recent trend where I was watching like 90 Day Fiance clips and being like, wow, look at this horrible stuff. But like, Squid Game, the challenge, and I'm honestly, I love talking about this just because I do like hearing from you all who are actually like watching each episode and everything in terms of like, I do like hearing about like the drama in terms of like everybody backstabbing each other and like all that stuff. I just don't, the concept is like the antithesis of the what made the what sold Squid Game as a series, as a story for me. And it's just like, ugh, it feels so dirty. But like, no, I would like, guys, like, fill me in terms of like, tell me of the backstabbing and the betrayals, the bold and big
really
betrayals.
Not backstabbing or betrayal, dude. It's a short amount of time. These people don't know each other, and it's a game. That's what bothered me about this finale. I can't stand the winner because she just cried. She took everything so personally. She was so dramatic. She is the problem that I have with a lot of Gen Zers lately. I just feel like they're entitled. They think that it's about them. I'm sorry, but she made this whole show about herself, and I get it. It's in her life. It is, but like the person that I wanted to win was the officer, because she was like keeping it real, and she was like calling the bluff, and she was playing the game. She wasn't taking it seriously. And oh my gosh, I was devastated at this ending because I feel that she deserved to win, but because of the last game that was a physical, like, running game.
There's a lot of things to say. I have so many things to say about
I'm
this.
so mad that they chose the last game to be a running game. Oh, I'm so
they weren't
annoyed.
trying to give them that money. They were trying to give them that money. That game was hilarious. And they made it like, my question, okay, so we got to set this up for the listeners who have no idea what we're talking about. But so in Squid Game, The Challenge is a reality show. They do Squid Game. And the final thing they made them do was red light, green. Spoilers for anybody watching Squid Game, The Challenge. Spoilers.
And it was such a good show up to this point.
It was very well produced this season. We were freaking out last week, but yes, the ending was really kind of, the last couple of games were hella weak. I have a lot of problems. I have a lot of problems with how they kind of like skewed characters in this show. I have a problem with what's his name, Trinity or whatever it was. I almost turned off the TV.
Do you think that was like scripted or something? Like, that was like,
if it is, it's very racist, and if it wasn't, like, dude needs to go to therapy. I was like, yo, man, I was like, black martyr complex, I can't take this. And now I'm speaking to a very specific demographic of my people, but like the whole I will lay down for all of you stuff. What like, what are you talking about? Like, yo, man, go to therapy, my guy. Like, go to therapy now.
Could I ask a quick question? And sorry to interject, but the reality show doesn't plant like someone working as part of the Netflix studio?
Trinity seemed like he was planted.
No, I thought they were this season. I thought that was going to be like a reveal at the end, that like the front man was a contestant, or
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, they didn't do anything that clever. But they had him do at the very, but that Trinity thing and his, like, that whole, like, the production of that, I was like, get this the F out of here. Like, you are a black man living in the 2020s, and you're like, oh, I'll reject the money for all you wonderful people. Or I want to slap you through the screen. Like, I almost turned it off. That's where they lost me. I was just like, and I feel like I was like, that gave me the ick. I was like, yeah, that's not right. But the girl from the Bronx, I was like, yo, you're from the Bronx. You are not representing the Bronx very well. And I don't know if the Bronx is going to be happy with you crying your eyes out everywhere. But
it was me. I was like, am I just like a heartless?
Gen Z, the level of entitlement to the actual level of skill is interesting divide. But they didn't want to give them that money, because I was questioning if they didn't even make it across the finish line. If nobody made it, would anybody get
it roll over?
Yeah, like, that was where I was like, oh, this could be sick. This could be really sick. But it was funny that the two older people, like, just busted their ass.
I don't think the poker player moved.
Were like, I got it. My knees, my ankle. Like,
I really feel like the poker player didn't move, but I think that they, like,
no, he was overzealous. He was trying to move, because that was the trick. Because as soon as I saw the game, I said, oh, I know what's going to happen here. Like, especially to him. The men are going to be like, oh, we can just sprint it, and they're going to lack control. And like we do. While the ladies are going to be like, I got to time this, and I'm just going to stop early, be safe, and like make sure I'm still. The guys are going to be like, I'm getting every second. Like, and sure enough, he went too hard. and stopping. If you don't know how to, like, there's a whole workout routine called deceleration for a reason, because it takes muscles to stop instantly, just like it takes muscles to start instantly. So you can't just be going full steam ahead like you're going after $4 million and then stop on a dime. You're gonna hop. And that's what happened to that dude. He hopped. And
You're
that
gonna
was it.
hop.
And then you just look like an idiot after all your talk and scheming. And that guy was a scumbag. There were a couple people who were sociopaths.
Thank
The
God
guy who
he did
lied
not
about his
win.
birthday and his kid on the way. I was like,
Oh
yo,
my God. That was they tried too
that's
hard.
a young kid. Yeah, that's a young kid thing. Nobody would want that karma. Like, as an older person, you know better than that. That's crazy. But anyway, this is not what the audience came here for. We're losing them probably. We're just talking about our little reality show. Matt, you something hit and you really want to highlight it. This is like the equivalent of your agenda today. So go off.
Yeah, man. It's the first few episodes, the first 3, in fact, of the Mighty 9 are out, or as it said, the Mighty 9 it said is out on Prime Video. That's how it says it in the show all the time.
I know.
Running joke in the show. Just got to make that clear. But no, this is based on the second campaign from Critical Role. The Legend of Vox Machina is the first one that is out. This was the one I was looking forward to most because of the group of characters that were going to be making the jump to the screen. Obviously, a lot of the Critical Role cast also returns to voice characters. And this is 8 episodes. I had the chance to screen them all. No spoilers or anything like that for the first, beyond the first 3. But what I will say is I'm glad that they released the kind of a bulk premiere. Because you really do, there is those first few episodes, they're not slow at all, because I was compelled from the beginning to the end of those, but you are kind of moving back and forth, getting to meet everybody, establishing all these characters. You know, you have this very like rebellious monk, you have this down on his luck wizard who you start to learn things about and why, and he meets this wonderfully half the time drunk goblin named Knot, who I adore. And in fact, here's the one of the strongest things about this series, and also the original campaign, is that the characters themselves are just so fascinating. And this really shines when they all get into a group. Like, and that honestly, without getting into spoilers and things, but I will say, like, from episode 4 on, you really get to see that shine, because it kind of takes that long to get everybody into the same place and kind of moving the same direction. But once you really get there, I feel like this series goes from great to like outstanding. Like, just seeing them all banter, all of their various backstories and how they interact. They're all fascinating as individuals. I have a few favorites, obviously, but like I feel like the cast and the characters themselves just really shine. Some of them are abrasive. They don't get along. They're very much a dysfunctional family, but all of that just, man, I just adore these characters. And there's so many layers to things, like things that start out as jokes in the beginning where you're like, oh, that's probably a running gag, pay off down the line. They turn into something substantial story-wise. So I just thought they did such a good job of seeding those things. And obviously there are some changes from the campaign. There are certain characters that obviously can't really play a role because of the way the story has to proceed over those 8 episodes. And so I do hope, there hasn't been any announcement yet or confirmation, but we are getting more, Vox Machina. I'm hoping we get more Mighty 9, because this is the one that just I love. And also too, if you're watching the live show, you're seeing the trailer, the animation I think is superb. And the magic itself, like anytime they're using magic, they're changing forms, especially Fjord, who has a very different power set, and it's kind of all over the map. He shines in those action sequences. But like Beauregard doing all of the acrobatic stuff, Caleb and him trying to scrounge together magic and all how it looks and pops on screen, fantastic. I loved it. So yeah, you can read my full review on Comic Book. I don't want to take too long for me to go into a lot more detail, but if you haven't followed Critical Role, if you haven't followed that campaign, I encourage you to give it a chance because I think it can captivate you. And I feel like you'll understand a little bit of like, oh, I get what people are talking about. And if you did watch all those, or you're already informed and already in the fandom, this is a no-brainer. You got to go watch this. Like, this is fantastic. Yeah, Evan, I know you had a chance to see it too, right?
I did. So I was a big fan. I haven't heard all of the Critical Role original campaign podcast. I'm going to change that eventually, but I was a really big fan of Vox Machina. I loved the seasons that they created, but I kind of like Mighty Nine more, which is like, it's a darker story. The characters kind of resonate a little bit more with me, but like, you know, Matt, you had mentioned like the goblin who's a drunk, but like, that's funny on one hand, but on the other, like, they are suffering from like VTs, and it's like sad. Like there's in the first episode, I remember that there's a time where like legit they go without a drink for like, I don't know, like an hour, and they're having like drawbacks. So yeah, I would say this is a strong recommend, I think.
Yeah, and that goes interesting places as the story unfolds, and like they dive deep. It's not just a surface thing. They dive deeper into that and what it means. Like, they're a thief, and so when they're having withdrawals, they're not very good at thieving. So like that plays into events that come up, right? Of like, they can't get the lock to pick and stuff like and they then delve into what formed that. And so again, there's some really, it's not just surface level stuff. They dig into characters. Everyone has their own interesting backstory. And as producer Peter so wonderfully pointed out, yes, you can learn more about Mighty Nine and Critical Role as a whole over on the Character Sheet YouTube channel. So yeah, go watch Mighty Nine on Prime Video right now.
All right, that's Mighty Nine, and let's talk about the main event, Wicked for Good, which is kind of making some waves out there in cinema land right now. I was surprised by some of the reactions I'm seeing to this movie, but I checked this out. This was the first musical I've ever sat down and watched. This is the first time I've ever watched anything Wicked related.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't usually do all this, but my kids really wanted to see it, and you know, I had a chance to take them to a screening, so I did. Yeah, I thought that this was well produced. Very well produced, like well shot movie. John M. Chu did a great job. You know, obviously the two stars of the movie, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, are both, you know, really great in their roles. And the entire cast of production was good. And, you know, I found not experiencing this as the stage play and all that stuff, I found the kind of interquel stuff with the Wizard of Oz in this one to be interesting. A lot of people are like screaming about that. I guess they don't know what an interquel is or what Wicked is, because that's a weird criticism of a thing that's always been this, you know, but that's what it is. But I think where I noticed this as somebody who has little to nothing to do with any of this is the shift this movie makes, which is that, to me, knowing the narrative of the stage play for many years, that I feel like, and what the play was and why it kind of hit a chord, and what it's from what it's titled to like what it's saying, I feel like the play was very much about a straightforward, focused kind of storyline about, you know, somebody that we consider wicked or a bad woman, and why, because she's independent, she doesn't agree, she speaks her mind, she has her own power, you know, she's empowered. Like, all these things were a metaphor at the time Wicked began for, like, you know, where kind of, you know, feminist not ideology, but thought in, you know, progression was going. And it was about you know, you can't just call me, you know, basically the B word because I'm a stronger, independent woman. That's kind of the ethos behind Wicked, right? And it's about the wicked witch breaking out of this kind of image and mold and escaping it, quite literally, getting the popular guy who admires her for her independence and doing this, while the pretty, happy, kind of conformist girl ends up trapped in her perfect little bubble. That's the play. You know, that's the read, specifically on the Glinda character at the end of it. Even though she and Alphaba do have a resolution and all that, Glinda's kind of trapped in the Oz conformity into the system she kind of, bought into while Alphaba escapes it. This movie kind of is trying to, I feel like, make it a little bit more even-handed. There's no bad girl in this. It's kind of saying, like, ladies, let's not tear each other down. Let's build each other up. We need each other. And there's this whole ethos of there can only be good. The good popular girl can only look that way if there's another girl that, is strong enough to take, the other criticisms and be the other image. And that's what this one is saying. I don't know if that works so much, because what this I feel like does is splits the two movies and I even kind of have a piece in our little back channel of the site to be written about. I feel like the first movie was Alphaba's movie featuring Glinda, and I feel like this one is Glinda's movie featuring Alphaba. And that's because I feel like Ariana Grande's arc is the main arc of this movie, as opposed to Alphaba's arc, which is just kind of a series of resolution events. I don't want to say resolutionary. It sounds like I'm saying something different. But that's me. Matt knows a lot more about this than I do. So I am very interested to see what he's about to say.
No, well, first off, I will just say on the music side, I thought it was going to be very difficult to top Defying Gravity. Defying Gravity is a fantastic song and was performed incredibly well. But For Good, and Chu had kind of teased that, like, you couldn't wait for people to really hear that. The sheer emotion of that song and what you're getting from the two performers, both as people who have formed an off-screen friendship, a real friendship, right? And on screen between these two characters is phenomenal. That like hit me. I got teary-eyed, right? That way that was done was beautiful. And that song is become one of my favorites. Also, No Good Deed is a fantastic song. Great song, and like the way that is put together, it's just beautiful. It's stunning, and there's anger in it, and there's frustration and all of that, but there's also grief. There's so much there, because at the end of the day, like, Elphaba has all this power, but the way the world of Oz works, all of her attempts to try and help people have gone askew slightly and cause all these ripple effects. And so just the way that is highlighted, the way this story is highlighted through song and is thoroughly a musical, which I get on sometimes for things like trying to be musicals that don't need to be or aren't. This one is, and this one fully embodies that. And I thought they did another beautiful job. I get on people, some of the reactions I've seen of like, oh, this didn't need to be split into two movies. I don't know what you're smoking. That is just ridiculous to me. This is not The Hobbit. This is not a 5-page pamphlet that they turned into 3 movies. That's ridiculous. This, to me, justified. And also, just even on paper, that play needs to be more than one movie. You can't fit all that in a satisfying and, like an in-depth way. You can't do that in just one movie for me. And the first movie is already long, by the way. This one's like 2
this
hours
is definitely like a
minutes.
nearly 5-hour movie just split up.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that can't be done.
Epic.
So that
Yeah,
I've seen that reaction, and I like just kicked that out of here. The other thing is the tonal shift, and the tonal shift to me was like, I see that sometimes as a criticism, and I don't get that, because it was always going to be a tonal shift. The whole first movie and also the play sets this story. It's planting all the seeds and setting the temp poles for what is going to be a battle between the wizard and Elphaba, and also this fracture between this friendship that has become, to me, the heart of the movie. The heart of the movie has actually always been those two. It's never been one or the other. So I always kind of knew there was going to be a duality between the movies, because to me, whereas the play was more strictly, probably more honed in and focused on Elphaba from beginning to end, the movie very much highlighted this duo. You are correct. They're the friendship. So it always made sense that, yes, you're going to have a balance there. But I don't ever think Elphaba played a second fiddle. I just think, yes, the sheer, like, the way the plot moved and things, you had to kind of move to Glinda's side, because you had to see things from that angle of the story to have impact. So like that, So I've seen those criticisms too, and I don't understand those because I'm like, what movie were you watching then? Like,
no, but, I wanna,
did you think
if we could just put a pin on what you're saying right here, because I want to stay like right here for a second, is, and we're gonna mansplain this to you all. Don't worry about it. We got this. Is that's it. I feel like that's the difference between, I feel like the play had this bite to it that was deconstructing like the popular girl. And this is a different time where we're in the Gen Z time where we're like, we're not attacking the popular girl. We're not doing that. We don't have to attack the popular girl or, attack the oddball girl. We can say these girls can be friends. Oh, look what I just did there, guys. I didn't even
did a
mean
heart.
to. They can be friends. And that's what this is saying, right? They literally say this is a balance. Like, you have to be here and I have to be here, because that's how we nurture this place or help this place. Is like, it takes both of us, right? It takes all these ladies coming together and do that. And that part in the theater, as they mentioned in the chat, yes, this is a movie for girlfriends. Like, it is a movie for girlfriends, right? Like, I saw a lot of pairings of that in my screening, like a lot of older girlfriends too, people who had probably seen the play. Like,
crap, I don't have many of those.
But like, grab your best gal pal. This is that, like, where you guys are going to be holding hands and like crying in the theater. And that's what I think it serves. But I'm going to tell you, because I took my son, and that Ariana Grande is going for that Oscar. The girl ain't playing. Sydney Sweeney.
Oh my!
This is where you want to be. But like, yeah, Ariana's going for the Oscar in this one. Like,
she's fantastic. Oh, also
she was sweet for those first rounds. She was sweet for those first rounds when y'all were just, putting her on the back burner in that first film. But in this one, she's trying to get that Oscar, and she might. My son came away. He's a bigger Ariana Grande fan than when we went into that movie. I can tell you that much. Yeah.
She's amazing. She really is. Like, I know there were other people in line for this role, right? And she's very much called this a passion project for her. She wanted this for years. And you can see why. Like, she lives and breathes that character. And that character,
I think she's going full method. I feel like she just like decided to become like a fairy princess witch for like the last couple of years. And
all she's missing is the bubble machine. Like,
right?
It's
like, good for her.
It's amazing. She's flawed though. I love that even in the end, which does take a more like I don't want to spoil things, but the end, like, I was really satisfied with the ending of the film and where certain stories go. But like, she's a flawed character, and I love that even in her way, there's a whole exchange between her and Elphaba towards the end where there's still that little bit of like sassy, like, I'm still like the girl. I'm still
their like little duel was hilarious.
Oh my gosh, it's one of the best things. The crowd was losing it in our theater. And like, look, me and my wife saw, and like you said, girlfriends and things like that, but also couples. I saw a ton of couples there were a lot of couples in our screening. And what was wonderful actually was I saw a bunch of kids. I saw girls dressed up. There was a girl in full green face paint as Elphaba. There was a little Glinda coming out with her like full on pink sparkle.
So and there's a lot of pink, a lot of green.
And so like, I love that friendship and the way, like, yes, there's flaws. They both screw up. They again acknowledge that in song. I love that, right? There's a whole real theme to that last song, For Good. So I dug this movie. I want to go see it again. It was fantastic.
No, I thought it was well done. And I've seen the first one. I like the first one. I like them both as companion pieces. And for 2-part movies that can be so bad, I think this one is getting a little bit of unfair criticism. But yeah, it worked. The magic worked on my kids both times. I can tell you, like, my daughter got a little promo shirt that has like the silhouette in green and the silhouette in pink. And, she was all ecstatic.
We bought a Funko Pop Glinda keychain
and she's been a witch for the last couple Halloweens. And so, yeah, we're not, they did the thing with this Wicked movie. They really did do a good job of turning this play into like a whole movie franchise thing. All right, we got to speed through comics. We only got like 6-7 minutes for comics. Let's focus in on Batman Deadpool 1.
I am so curious because I believe this is Janelle's first Grant Morrison book.
Yeah, I was gonna be. Yeah,
I'm almost positive. This. I don't think we've ever talked about one on the show, and so to have it be this and have it be Deadpool and Batman. Janelle, what did you think of this crazy crossover story? What did you think?
I mean, easy. I'm obsessed. This is awesome. How could you not love a crossover like this? It is. How do you even think of such things? What an interesting mashup there. Like just irreverent Deadpool and then like legit, like stern, stoic Batman who like is, I don't know. I this is so great. Like I wish that I was kind of checking these types of things out earlier. I don't know how many crossovers there are, but I am just giddy about it. Can I say something really funny? And I know I don't want to take too long, but during like the end game thing, my husband, we were watching it together because I obviously made him watch all of this because he doesn't know anything about comics. And he kept saying, he's like, Superman's gonna come in and say, it's totally this is gonna be the big thing. It's gonna be a crossover, like DC's gonna and I was like, that doesn't happen ever. Like that's not gonna happen. I have a video of it. He wouldn't let me post it. I took video footage because it was so cringy. And I feel like he's having his moment and I'm going to make him read this because of that.
Oh, yes. Yes, please do. Yes. I mean, look, there's only been several. There's been probably more than you think, but less than there haven't been that many.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this is the first, I mean, in a while, this is the first, and honestly, this is the first crossover actually to me to where they're so interwoven. There's other tie-ins. We're getting a crossover in like, DCKO with other franchises like outside of Marvel. But like this event to have so many heavyweights involved in this, like Grant Morrison. And look, we saw the previous Deadpool crossover, and that was really good. I really enjoyed that one. But this one, Morrison is very good at like just completely throwing you off of what the actual story is for the first 5 pages. What the hell is this? Like, I was like, I was kind of checked out. I'm like, those first couple pages, I'm like, okay, like I get a little Deadpool burnout sometimes when I read a lot of Deadpool. And Morrison takes that 4th level meta stuff to the max. And so I was like, okay. And then we start really jumping into what this story becomes. And I was like, all right, I dig it. You got Dark Claw in here. All right, you got the amalgam. Yeah, you got all the. Okay, I see what you're doing. And then I was in. Right, I was good. Kofi, what do you think of this?
I feel like somebody sat Grant Moore was just drinking with Grant Morrison, and they were like, "Hey, yo, dog, you seem tense. You got some stuff you need to get off your chest. Like, is there some things you've always been just like festering inside you after you've been working and you weren't able to say on these books?" And they were like, "Do I now?" And they were like, all right. Here's a book. Like, get your ish off. Just get your ish off here. Just get it all off, like right here. And this is all of Grant Morrison's like long held, just like Dennis Reynolds face. Like I've been waiting to say a lot of this for a long time stuff, but I loved it. It was the moment that they had Deadpool doing like the whole Deathstroke argument. No, I'm not Slade. I'm Wade. Like the whole thing. I was like, oh, Grant Morrison's just on BS in this book, and I'm here for it. And it was just like going from joke to joke to joke, and knowing like in a comedy movie is like in a book. Like and then just breaking the rules. And like you said, all of a sudden we'll just go from like Wayne Manor up to seeing eternity, back down to like around universes, to just like everything's in our head, a dream. Like we are doing every comic book thing you can do, and every kind of hilarious commentary, in using Deadpool like you should as a vehicle for the creator's own kind of narration, thoughts, and commentary. And yeah, Grant Morrison definitely get a lot of stuff off, and that's why this has been buzzing all week throughout the comic community, and even just nails newer things like just having Cassandra Nova sitting around with fingers in people's heads, like
I know.
movies, like there's nothing off limits, the whole shebang bang. And I really do, because I was kind of speed reading through this because it is very wordy, but the words are Grant Morrison words. And so there's a ton of depth and wit and kind of stuff in this. And so I have to really sit down and reread this at like a leisure pace this weekend, because every time I think I got it all, like something's clipped up on the internet and people are pulling panels and be like, I can't believe this is it here. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I'd even like read the words carefully enough to like really get that joke right there or that reference back to yada, yada, yada. So yeah, this is like what a crossover should be. It's not an empty spectacle, and using Deadpool is an art, and Grant Morrison is wicked kind of with, see what I did there? Is wicked with the way they just use Deadpool to just really just lampoon so many things about the industry, the larger multimedia industry, the new comic publishing things. And if anybody knows, it's Grant Morrison. So well done.
I think I just wanted to also say, like, kudos on bringing Dark Claw back. I never expected Dark Claw to ever appear ever after his 90s debut. But I also just had to, I love the fact that Grant Morrison relied so much on continuity when it came to this. Like, the fact that it happens because Eternity and Kismet hook up, who are both.
Yeah, I was about to say, framing this story as a cosmic one-night stand is.
And they also have on their nightstands the helmets of the original deities that were shown in the original Marvel versus DC crossover, which was such a good pull. I was like, man, this is really Grant Morrison is really.
You can tell he read it because like he went back and read it fresh because like there are so many amalgam Easter eggs throughout the whole thing. It's crazy. I was like, oh man, all right, cool. And I love that crossover. You hit me in the nostalgia feels. I love that crossover. So yeah.
But the meta humor is
that's
great.
comics,
like all the stupid reasons we invent for crossovers, all the things like all the like this one is just
And also shout out to Dan Mora, because when does that dude sleep? I have no idea how he keeps. Like, he's working on Transformers and Superman and doing stuff like this at the same time.
Beginning to think DC made the first severed employee.
And World's Finest.
Oh, and World's
Finest covers.
Man, how the heck? Yeah.
Do you even know by day that he's doing all this? Like, people are just like,
he did. He did part of DCKO too, didn't he? Yeah, he's on another level. One of my favorite artists ever. So, but that's comics.
All right, yeah. We got to get out of here. We have an interview that we are about to launch with Mr. Chris Killian and Mr. David Dastmalchian talking about his latest project. This man is, I mean, what can he do? He's in some of the biggest movies. He's in one of the best horror movies I've seen in a lot of years. If you haven't seen Late Night with the Devil, go check that out. He's a comic creator. The man's multifaceted. So check out that interview and shout out to our boy Chris Killian, who's now a comic creator as well. And his book, I Saw Santa, should be coming out right about now-ish when you hear this or the next week. So go pick that up as well. All right. This is Comic Book Nation. We'll see you guys next week.
I want to say thank you for your time today, man. I watched Dust Bunny a couple of nights ago, and you're brilliant in it. You have a lovely mustache. And I want to say, I love these sorts of like dark children fairy tales, Little Monsters, The Witches, Coraline, stuff like that. Right up my alley. So I thought this was a lot of fun. To get
People
going,
don't
though.
Make movies like that anymore, dude. I really think it's important. Like, I miss everything from Labyrinth to City of Lost Children. Like, who's making those films? And I'm so grateful that the world has Brian Fuller.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. It's one of my favorite genres that I feel like it's so untapped, so underserved. I just think I like things that like let children, that they're not hokey and cheesy, that there's a little bit of, they allow children to be scared. Because I think that children can handle a lot more than we think they can. And some of my favorite memories as a child, like I said, I threw back The Witches, Labyrinth is a great example. I love stuff like that was like safe, but scary at the same time.
Yep. Creating a space where kids can go to the movies and actually get challenged a little bit is important too. This is a movie that's not for kids. I mean, it's for kids, but I definitely, as a movie, if you're an adult, you gotta go see this movie. It's so badass.
I agree. To get going, before we jump into the Dust Bunny conversation, though, I really want to talk to you about your time management skills, which I am in awe of. I mean, when you're someone who's acting in big movies, you're juggling several comic books and hosting your own wildly successful podcast, Grave Conversations, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way. How do you keep from feeling just overwhelmed? Like, do you worry about spreading yourself so thin that some of these areas aren't getting the best version of you?
Always. I mean, that's one of my biggest fears, which is why I'm so grateful that I work with the people that I work with. You know, I have Good Fiend Films, which is currently just a 4-person team that's very strong, but I'm able to delegate a lot of the responsibility. I used to work from a place of kind of, and I didn't just work, I lived in a place that was pretty compulsively controlling about everything and needing to be on top of every email and CC'd on everything and every conversation. And I've worked very hard to know that I'm surrounded by people who I could trust to fulfill and execute the vision of whatever it is that we're working on. So like stepping back, letting people, you know, collaboratively take the reins on things has been such a gift to me. And I have, like I said, I'm just surrounded by an amazing manager team that I work with now, amazing PR team that I work with now. Like everyone's in like sync, in a flow, and they support and believe in the vision of what it is that I'm trying to do. So I'm really grateful and lucky, but there are times when I'm like, you know, I have to start every day with my routine to get myself centered and get me like totally present. And then I look at my daily routine and my daily itinerary, and I'm always like, okay, it's going to be a big day, but it's worth it, man. I'm just some context.
If you don't mind me asking, what does that routine look like for you in the morning to sort of center yourself?
I wake up and I'm 80% mornings. I very rarely wake up like, hey, here we go. I wake up riddled with anxiety. Some stuff that doesn't even make sense. Once I actually get conscious, like stuff that I'd be stressed out about, that like some stuff that does, some is just my daily life, personal relationships, the world that we're living in, etc. There's things I just wake up and I just feel so nervous and scared. So I get out my phone and I have a little checklist that is saved in my photos. I do it when I wake up and I do it before I go to sleep. But the checklist includes things like gratitude, making a list of the things I'm going to do to be of service to others, the things I'm going to do to be of service to myself. I say a couple of prayers that really help center me, meditation, get out of bed, and I get right on the floor and I do yoga. That helps me a lot. Like stretching, I carry a lot of tension in my body and it helps just like get blood flowing. Then I usually, if I'm with my kids when I'm in LA, like half of the time. So I'm making breakfast, getting them to school, doing that stuff, which gets you out of yourself. Then I like to go for a long walk. I usually hop on a meeting in the morning and get to like unload whatever I need to unload. And then I'm ready to go. I used to resent that. I'd be like, this is such bull crap. Like, why does it take me 2 hours a day to just be level enough to be like a functioning normal human being? But I stopped resenting it and I just accepted like that's part of who I am. And if that is what helps, then that's what I'm willing to do. You know,
I love that. I also do the stretching, but I never thought about, I'm a slave to my checklist. So putting something like gratitude on there, or, you know, just as that's something that I might actually start, like putting on my checklist just to kind of help me get through my stuff. So man, thanks very much for that. Now for Dust Bunny, you play an assassin only known as the conspicuously inconspicuous man. Tell me, besides the teeny tiny little mustache, what's the secret sauce for making oneself conspicuously inconspicuous?
The world that Brian Fuller built, like the world of Dust Bunny, when people get to see this film, it's so luscious and it's so gorgeous. Like the actual city, when you see the characters moving through the way that world looks, that there is a stylistic kind of brilliance and brightness to everything. So I wanted to move and look as stylistically ambiguous as possible. I mean, just like his name says, I wanted to be the guy that could be standing on the train and he just looks like another accountant going downtown to crunch numbers. I wanted to be the guy that's in the park walking the dog that you just go, that guy probably has the most boring life in the world. And truthfully, underneath the surface is a accomplished, I don't even know if I call him a hitman. I feel like he's a cleaner. I feel like he's somebody that takes care of whatever his operatives need him to take care of, and his bosses. Now, often that includes killing people, taking people out, and he's a master assassin, but he has compassion. And that's something you don't often see in characters like this, which is, again, the brilliance of Brian writing this. When you see this film and you see the first confrontation that I get to have with them in the Chinese restaurant, I could end it all right there. But it's like, there's a kid here. Let's do this the right way. Let's spare her, because the people I work for, the rest of the way that I got to perform as him.
That scene is so good too. I love that scene, man. Such a well done scene. Having played Polka Dot Man in the DCU and then writing for Creature Commandos, have you toyed around with the idea of writing a Dust Bunny comic book?
You know what? I have thought about it. It's been a long time. I think that's a brilliant idea.
The world is right there. I mean, it's right there.
I'm gonna get on the phone today with Brian, and I'm gonna say, Brian, we need to do the Dust Bunny graphic novel. I think that's actually like really, because the world exists beyond.
Yeah.
Like, what is the world of, Mads' character for say, like that precedes this experience? What happens after this film? Because unfortunately, not a lot of people make it out of this world, but there's always hope. So like, what is this, and what kind of monsters live under our beds,
Well, also, I mean, even your character, I like, even that is a title of its own spinoff. Just the conspicuously inconspicuous man. It's just such a great title that I'm like, who doesn't want to know more about that guy? I, for one, also would love to see a Dust Bunny Count Crowley crossover. So I want to know, how do you think Crowley would fare in the world of Dust Bunny?
She would kick ass. She would kick ass because she knows that monsters are real. So she would be ready to like go and figure out how to, because the problem with the grown-ups in the world of Dust Bunny is that none of them are willing to listen or believe until it's too late. And that's often true in real life. I think a lot of people aren't willing to listen. They listen, but they don't hear. And that's something I'm working on. I'm trying to like not just listen to people, but actually to hear people, and then to hopefully imbue some form of empathy. Empathy isn't something we're all just born with. It actually takes
lived in experience.
It takes practice. It takes a yearning for it, as we see in the world around us right now. It probably would be easier to exist without it. So I think Jerry Bartman, Count Crowley, would like listen and would actually get down there and like figure out what weapons and what tools she needs to be able to destroy a Dust Bunny.
I love that. Now, I know this next part's going to seem like a shameless self-plug, but please indulge me because I've got a point.
Hit me.
So my first ever comic, I Saw Santa. I just got this like 2 days ago, man. And I just, flipping through it, dude, it's
Chris,
so cool.
I know all about I Saw Santa. Like, I've been excited to get my hands on I Saw Santa. I think it's such an original, twisted, awesome idea, dude. I need to get a copy.
Thank you. But just give me your address when we're done recording. I'll be happy to send you one myself.
Great.
Dude, but flipping through it in that tactile way, like, as we did when we were kids, it's just an indescribable feeling. And I want to know, what was your first experience doing that for your first comic? And does that feeling wear off with each additional book that you publish?
It never wears off, Chris.
Dude, that's awesome.
It gets better because I think my work gets better. And sometimes I make mistakes. Sometimes I don't execute things as well as I wish that I had or could. But if I look at the diagram from a distance, I can see the progress in my skill as a writer. I think I've become a better writer. I've also partnered with some amazing writing partners and editors who've helped improve my game a lot. And artists. The artists really helped me grow as a writer. But holy shit, man. I grew up going to a place called Clint's Comics in Kansas City. And I'll never forget walking into Clint's Comics in Kansas City and seeing that they had put an entire wall of Count Crowley #1 on the wall. And there was a line of people down the block that I had grown up with and that knew me from Kansas City that had come to get their copy signed. And I got to hold that book in my hands, and I was like, doesn't get much better than that, man.
Dude, that's wild. I'm doing my first signing next Wednesday, is when the book drops, and I'm just like, I'm just been over the moon, just cloud nine. I'm in Chattanooga, so I'm doing it at a comic shop here in Chattanooga.
Hey, let's put this out here together. You ready?
Okay.
One of the most important scripts I've ever written, to me, a very personal horror film that I have been working to get made for a very long time. I am manifesting right now in 2026. We are shooting it in Chattanooga. My director lives in Chattanooga. I talk every day to a group of people about how we're going to pull off making this film in Chattanooga, Tennessee. You're going to come visit us on set and do an interview. I'm seeing it, man. I'm manifesting this. You're going to come to set. It's a role unlike anything I've gotten to play before. The actress that we have right now cast in the lead is incredible. The monster work that we're doing is insane. That's all I can say about it right now. But I tell you, dude, Chattanooga, the fact that you just said that,
yeah,
we'll do a signing together at the.
We got to work together in the future. We're gonna do it, man. This is great. I've always loved your work, and that's so exciting. I can't wait for you to. I'll show you around. I'll take you to Rock City, man. We'll go do some stuff. I'm almost out of time. I can't. I mean, I feel like I had dozens of questions for you, and there's no chance we're gonna get through all of them. So I'm gonna pick and choose. First, we didn't get to talk about Through, which I do want to talk about.
Can I plug Through for you really quick?
Yes. Please give me the elevator pitch.
Yeah, so imagine the worlds of, Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth with Alice in Wonderland from Lewis Carroll and even Frank Baum's The Wizard of Oz, but set in modern day Chicago. A young woman who discovers a world that's been crafted and built entirely for her, and she has no idea why. She has no understanding of this man that crafted this entire space. And it all started in his little ramshackle apartment in Chicago. And somehow he was able to manifest and create a little portal through to another world that is supposed to be her safe space, is supposed to be her escape from the pain of the world. But as we know, those don't really exist. They're within ourselves. And if we retreat within ourselves and we go and hide within ourselves, we're going to have to battle all kinds of big, crazy monsters and go on crazy adventures. But like the way out, really the only way out, if you're feeling the kind of pain that I know all of us have felt in our lives and our inability to ask other people for help, the only way out is to actually go through it. And so this is deeply personal to me. It wrestles with a lot of the big ideas that I think about when it comes to psychology and stuff that I've struggled with. But at the end of the day, I also think it's hopefully for people a transformative, transporting kind of mystery wrapped up in a fantastical world. And I've never written anything like it. And I don't know, man. I'm so like, it's like my baby is out in the world as of right now. People can order it at Z2 Comics. It'll be in retail stores in March. But right now it's only available through pre-orders and through ordering. And I'm getting tagged in Instagram posts from people who are getting their book. And it's like, they tag me when they get it. Now I'm like, are they going to tag me when they finish it? Are they going to like it? But I have no control over that, man. I have complete, it's gone now. It's out of my hands. We'll see.
I'll tag you when I finish it. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have anything nice to say, that's okay. You could just be like, David, you made a book. But hopefully you.
No, I've been excited ever since I heard about it. It sounds amazing. Yeah, it sounds like something that I'm really going to be into. Last question for you, and then I'll let you go because I know that you're up all night. Now that you've had several titles starting to come out, which of your books would you most want to see adapted in live action?
Count Crowley.
Yeah.
Followed very closely by Knights versus Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Followed very closely. Actually, it's like horses in a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some days I wake up and I'm like, how can I make Knights versus Samurai? It would be the coolest show. I want to be like Shogun meets Game of Thrones meets Dungeons and Dragons, meets Excalibur. I want all that. But then there's certain days I'm like, oh my God, Jerry Bartman would be the most awesome show. I would tune in every week to see her shit show go down. I'm working on this book with Leah Kilpatrick, who's one of my longest running writing partners, called The Accessories, about the great monsters and their henchmen, and all the henchmen basically flee and form their own team. That one, as I'm writing it, and as as I'm getting scripts from Leah, and then I'm working on scripts, every time I see a new one, I'm like, this would make a kick-ass show. So we'll see. I don't know, Chris. It's hard, but yeah, that was a long answer.
No. It's perfect, man. Thank you so much for your time. I always love getting to talk with you. And Chattanooga next year, we're putting it out.
It's happening.
Into the ether. It's there. It's already been said.
Erica Scoggins is a brilliant director who lives in Chattanooga, and she's also a musician and an artist. And I can't wait to see what she makes, man. It's going to be this movie going to flip people's heads.